But these are Japanese arcade machines. You can see the 100 yen symbol up here. But we didn't get them from Japan. We got them from, I believe there was a little place in New Hampshire. Definitely close to some Massachusetts, New Hampshire border. That suffered a lot of water damage. It was like a huge arcade. I would say it had a bowling alley. It had the whole entire rhythm game section with DDR kits and stuff like that. And obviously that takes up a lot of space. And it had the fighting game area where it was just these machines back to back, like 4 rows of these machines back to back. And they had things like Street Fighter. Yeah. Now this is set up for a fighting game. And what we're gonna put in there is a Marvel, as you can see from the box, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And I'll talk a little bit more about this box, but the basic thing about these machines is that Japanese fighting arcade cabinets are designed to be run in pairs. And in fact, I mentioned they were usually back to back, which means the screens were facing outwards. And the basic idea of why you would want to do that is the idea that you can't actually interfere with your opponent, because you're actually seeing the same thing. There's no hidden information when you're playing a fighting game. You as a player are seeing and what the other opponent is seeing exactly the same screen. Which is why you can actually have 2 sets of controls on the same machine. It will play pretty much the same. The only difference is you can elbow the person. You can put your hand on the controls or something like that, and that's not.
Do you think that is that like a real threat, or it just prevents people? Because
why
are American
totally real
machines always on the same?
Well, it's totally real in the sense. I would say that the threat of interfering with someone is real. The threat of someone actually getting hurt is real and minuscule. Because I have seen videos of people in Japanese arcades, like actually in Japan, playing back to back, and someone's throwing a chair over. These are plastic chairs that are designed to bounce. No one got hurt. But these are plastic chairs in a Japanese arcade because they're designed to bounce, because they know this thing happens. The likelihood that you will mess up with somebody probably happens way more often in friendly games, when it's your friend. It's like, ha ha ha, this is a lot of fun. It's like, stop that. So you can do that with your friends, and that's fine. But and in a lot of American arcades, especially the arcade machines you find in laundry, pizza places, movie theaters, they save a lot of space, right? You just have one machine, it's the size of a cupboard, and you can have this nice friendly game. If you interfere, it was a friendly game anyway. But in a competitive game, and then a lot of these fighting games have a competitive community behind them, you don't even want to have that possibility arise. And so these are very deliberately structured so that you go to an arcade, you see how it's set up, so, oh, this is an arcade that takes these games seriously, because they've set it up in this way, and so certain competitive players then say, all right, I want to be part of that. So this is actually not the way how it's normally set up, where it's side by side, but obviously we are here because it's fun, and setting it back to back would just take up too much space. So now we've got a situation where the 2 people playing will be doing side by side. We don't have any chairs yet. I guess we'll try to figure out.
Plastic ones.
Plastic
ones. Can bounce them.
Plastic ones that bounce. Little tacky plastic ones that bounce. So I can talk a little bit about what's going on in between the 2 machines. This is called the slave machine. This is the master. All the guts are going to go inside this thing. Mechanically, they're pretty similar. You've got these CRT screens. These are not LCDs. These are cathode rays hitting phosphorus. You've got joysticks, which I'm not sure if these were going to be locked. Hold on. Yeah, they're locked. Sorry. Oh no, they're not. You just opened the way I didn't think they opened. And if people actually want to take a look, you can come around, just watch the cables. You can see it's all pretty much hardwired here. We have a couple of controls here specifically for adjusting how the screen is going to be performing. These are analog screens, so there's things like is the image centered, is the color balance, right? Things like that. And that's the user controls are. Every single one of these buttons then is just wired down into this patch over here. And all this thing is just break out the connectors that then go down. How's it going? You notice that, so these buttons are Sanwa buttons, one of the companies that distributes high-class, high-quality arcade buttons in the US. They're just switches. They're just switches with a spring, and that they're designed to be very hardy and hold up for many hours of use. The joystick, I believe, is also Sanwa, but I don't think I word for it. All they are basically are two switches. Yeah, I guess 2 switches, 4 switches. I might be wrong. There might be 4. There are 4 little red switches if you look really closely, one on each side. And every time you push in on one side, it turns on that switch. So these controls are also. This thing is also not analog, even though you can move it a certain amount, and you hear that click. That's an on-off going on here. And of course, when you move it diagonally, it hits 2 buttons at once. You see the little clear plastic thing? That's called a gate. That actually controls how far the joystick can move in any given direction. And if you look through the clear plastic thing, you'll see a little octagon, little PCB cut out octagon. Right? I'm not sure if you can see it. So sometimes that's not an octagon. Sometimes that's a square. And if it's a square, that means when you push it diagonally, it goes as far left as it would have gone if you were just pushing left, and as far down as if you were pushing down. Whereas in these controls, you will notice it actually kind of moves in a circle, not in a square. This was a deliberate choice by me when we got the old gates were actually square. And it's like, I just couldn't pull off certain combos. That was my arcade machine. So it's like, all right, I'm changing the gates because this is one of those things you can do. And that allows you to do things like roll the controls. So I'm going to leave that one open actually because it doesn't really matter. That's part of the hardware. I'm not going to show you what the screen looks like because I frankly don't dare. These things are high voltage things. There's also a little light bulb in here. I think the fluorescent light bulb that makes the stuff glow, and usually we'll put in some sort of signage here to show that it's what game it was. And of course the speakers, which are really janky speakers. They're not good. You notice actually the machine is built by Sega, but the game is not actually built by Sega, it's Capcom. And the hardware is actually Sega, but that actually has nothing to do with the fact that it's going into the Sega cabinet. This is it's called a JAMA machine, Japan Arcade Machine Manufacturers Association, which means that it is designed to be compatible with any other game that is built to JAMA specifications. And if you think about the history of arcade machines, if you're running a business and you have a whole bunch of these really large boxes sitting in a room and you want to switch out a game because a certain game's not getting played anymore and no one's putting money into it, you want to be able to switch in a new game pretty quickly without having to move out an entire cabinet and then move in a new cabinet. So that's what this thing over here is. This is a JAMA connector. And everything that came pre-installed in the Sega cabinet basically comes out to a connector over here, or power, or it has something to do with power. So this has video, this has audio, this has joystick inputs, and inputs for a small number of buttons, I think 2 or 3, including the start, and then the start button, of course, and of course things like a sensor for the coin drop, which is another switch. Now, if you notice, this is more than a few buttons. This is a 6-button thing, and this is a Capcom thing. It started with things like Street Fighter, and then moved on with pretty much every Capcom fighting game after that had this kind of 6-button console. Correct me if I'm wrong if there's anyone I think that's about right. This is not JAMA standard. It's like the Japan arcade manufacturers, they did not have a spec for games that require 4 more buttons than the usual style. So there's extra stuff going on in here that's not actually covered by this board. That's why, in addition to this, which is basically a ruggedized computer, in fact, I think this one might actually have a disk or a hard drive in it. Don't take my word for it, it might just be RAM. It's very much a typical computer. You see there's a USB port here, there's a VGA port here, and here's sound. There's various other connections for things like sound and debugging. But it's...
Could you take that out, what you're holding?
I can with a little force, but...
What is that?
And things like power come into here. But otherwise, it's not all that different from a regular computer. So you're wondering what that thing is. This is called the Capcom harness. This is the thing that allows a machine to have 4 more buttons. And without this, and actually, if you think about it, it's actually 8 more buttons because you got that one over here, and you got this one over here, and that thing basically takes all of the controls, all of the button pushers, and communicates it back to the main computer through the single USB port here. This board obviously was designed specifically for this game. So as a result of that, it's expecting that you're going to have that. And if you had a Street Fighter machine, for instance, and you're replacing it with Marvel vs. Capcom 2, then that's great. You already have that. All you're doing is just switching the connections to this. And that's like, I just plugged it in. It's done. I just plugged in this video cable, use VGA. And these 2 ports are now connected the way they're supposed to. This is just power. There's nothing here but power. Different voltages. So that comes up to a... So the way how all this works now is that I've got the computer that's actually running the game. I've got the Capcom harness that's actually doing, that's actually allowing me to do things, that actually interfaces the controls with the computer. Then I need to plug it all in. That's this guy over here. This is where things get tangled around a lot, unfortunately. This is where things get a little bit tight. And this strip? I have no idea where this one goes, so I'm going to have to actually take a look at photos again. A lot of these here are power and things like no sense of the start button. These are going to be audio outputs. I have no idea where this one goes.
What if there's anything on the other side of that?
Yeah, I think you're right. There it is. It was on the other side, that makes sense. Alright, easier than... thanks for spotting that. So everything goes in here. This gigantic strip over here. Flip it around. And I try not to break anything.
Yeah, how do you do let's say there's something wrong, does one do maintenance on?
Well, you hope it's just a physical disconnection, and you go in with soldering iron. That's pretty much it. There is a problem with this machine that I know, and sometimes that second machine will lose a color. So instead of red and blue, I get like green and blue. And so that's, I know where that problem is. That's right on this board, and that requires soldering iron to fix. I tried fixing it once. It seemed to work. I never touched it again, but it's been moved all the way from the other side of the campus. So it's going to work again. Let's see. There was another. This thing. Oh gosh, this is really tight.
I just got here late. What are we looking at? What are these different bits which are?
So okay, this is the computer. This is the thing that actually runs the game. It has sound outputs, VGA, power, and a USB connector, which is all the controls. Things like starting, coin drops.
How much of this is stock between different games, and how much is like specifically for Marvel vs. Capcom 2?
So this is specifically for Marvel vs. Capcom 2. An interesting thing about the Niobe board. Niobe board is actually based on the Dreamcast hardware. Same technology, slightly more RAM, I believe. Might be slightly overclocked, but otherwise same basic architecture. Ruggedized. This is obviously ruggedized for long-term use. The fan is probably better, probably louder as well. This is the
Capcom. Like, do other cabinets use modern hardware? Like, are there 360 derivative cabinets?
There's a GameCube version. I forgot the name of it.
There's a new board for like BlazBlue and all the newer fighting games.
I don't know what that.
I don't know what it's based on.
I haven't kept up. But say GameCube had a version which they used for F-Zero GX, which was the arcade version. No, F-Zero AX, A for arcade. And that was basically running F-Zero, also developed by Sega.
So is that thing cheaper to make than a Dreamcast?
Is that thing cheaper?
Yeah. So I mean, I can imagine that there might have been a point at which the economy of scale for consoles was such that they could just afford to put a console inside of an arcade cabinet. But did that ever happen? Really?
It's different because this has fewer moving parts.
Right.
And that's a little bit obviously to deal with it being run 24 hours possibly a day.
Never mind.
It's definitely got better ventilation, so there's that kind of hardware cost where you got higher quality stuff going into things like that.
It has that suggestively circular.
Yeah,
What's going
I
on with
think
that?
there's actually an add-on that you can install inside this machine that reads a disk. So if you wanted to play like the equivalent of Dragon's Lair or something like that, where you have a lot of data that needed to be pulled off the disk, you could do that. But this particular board does not. I believe this is all solid state. It might have a hard drive. I have not seen any evidence that this thing actually has a hard drive. So, yeah. And if I was manufacturing this thing, I probably wouldn't want to put a hard drive in it. I'd put something like flash RAM or something like that. Still, yeah. So that's the computer. This is the Capcom harness, and that's designed to basically take in 4 extra buttons on each player, because the standard Japanese arcade machine, I think, has 2. I might be wrong about this. 2 or 3 buttons: the start button, the coin drop, and the joystick. That's it. All these extra buttons came with Street Fighter. So if you had a Street Fighter machine, you had one of these, or something, or an earlier version of one of these. And that serves the purpose of an interface between whatever arcade computing technology you had and whatever arcade control and display technology you had. Now, if you didn't have a Street Fighter machine or any other Capcom fighting game machine, you would have had to get this yourself and add it on to the system. But it's about as standard now as the Japan arcade manufacturer standard. So, if you've got a 6-button machine, you've got something that basically performs the same function. This thing also has a slight amplification tool in this, because it's designed to drive 2 speakers. But then it's also kind of expected that you got amplification hardware built into the system. So all it's doing is just bumping it up to basically 2 line-level signals rather than 1. So I've got this black cable over here. You probably recognize this as standard audio cables. This, just to be clear, sound for the game is coming out of this and going into this. Then sound for this machine is coming out of this cable into the standard Japan arcade manufacturer's interface here. And then it goes up into the speakers. The sound for that guy over there comes out of these 2 cables, so it splits it. Sound cover here goes into this thing, which is a junky Radio Shack amplifier, and connects to a cable. Might be easier if I pull it out and get it insert it in there. Might be easier. Not actually easier.
So both these machines are connected to the same
One
device?
computer. One computer, one video signal. Split into two thanks to this. This is the slave cable, right here. Everything that machine needs to function goes through this cable. This is the umbilical cord between two machines. That's how that computer gets any input from there, and that's how that screen gets any output from the system. So this one slave cable, you can see the number of pins that are connected. Some of these things are video. One of these things is none of these things should be power. I think the small one is probably audio, the big one is probably video, and the middle one is probably controls. I might have gotten those mixed up, but that's basically all you need. Power, on the other hand, that one has its own power supply. This gigantic box that you see over here is a huge AC to DC converter. Puts it out in different voltages, and that drives the screen, that drives the lights in the machine. And yeah, that is basically it. So if I can figure out a way how to just put that in. I have this way. You should be able to test this. Oh, there's a power cord in it, but oh wait, no, it's got power. Let's plug in. And then now I take this umbilical cord and I feed it through this tiny little hole over here. It's actually too small for the whole cord to go through, so I feed it in one at a time. One thing neat about these machines is that I can actually daisy chain the power supplies. It's the same thing as having a power strip and having both things plugged in, but I can control it all from one switch. So what I've done is, the power outlet's over there. Logically, I will connect this to that machine for power and that machine to the power outlet. But I've done it the other way around so that you can actually use the switch. Turn things on and off.
Is this configuration on one player on each screen but talking to the same computer, is that standard Japanese arcade? I feel like in the US I usually see it as two sticks.
Two sticks on the
With
same
one
machine,
machine, yeah.
So that basically is to prevent people from interfering with play.
So you can do them face to face or something?
Yeah, it's like normally the backs of these two machines are back to back, so that you can't actually physically interfere with play. You can still throw something at them, but by then
Or
you
have your
lost.
friend go over there and...
Yeah. Well, that's not. But these games are not hidden information games.
Right.
So you know.
That's
you're
why it's
seeing
surprising to me to configure it this way.
Yeah, but virtual on, for instance,
Yes.
is right.
Yes.
But so it lets you have a whole different type of game as well.
Virtual on is a custom cabinet though, because the joysticks are
Yeah.
But yeah, there are kits that are designed specifically, arcade machines that are designed specifically for hidden information games, and even and especially with those are multiplayer games, then those are not those are going to be custom machines rather than what you see here, which are sort of generic machines that you can fit in any fighting game in there, or even a multiplayer game like Bubble Ball or something like that. I could probably put in here.
Can you?
I probably could. I just need to plug it into this little thing here. That's it. And that's the magic of that. That's the wonderful thing about Japanese arcade machines. They're very console-like. Only instead of inserting a disc, you're inserting a PCB board, and it all comes down to this one connector, the JAMA connector. They made it really easy for you to swap things in for arcade manufacturers to just keep the most profitable games in play. So now I have to figure out what these things connect to. And that's going to be some combination of these things. Every single one of these connectors should be different. So there should be no chance of me plugging the wrong thing into theoretically. So these two are right. This is the problematic one because there are two things that look identical. And one of these things is power. So I don't want to mess it up. This is why I brought my computer, so I can see how it was hooked up previously. That's how the umbilical cord used to be connected. You can see it was orange, green, blue, orange, green, blue. Not the red and black.
Somewhat less horrifying. Oh, you've seen all the YouTube videos.
That's good. I'm glad I took that photograph.
You don't have it, right? So I'm thinking if you could just replace this entire market, you could just like pump you
This actually makes sense
Yeah, it
because
does, 'cause it's coming out
which
of
is
the
really
thing.
shitty automated.
Someone coming out?
Oh, no, it's not like
Really horrible.
disconnecting from the
I'm sure YouTube
harness
would love
then.
I'm actually, I think, I'm not sure if this is designed to take in power or put out power. Actually,
What is
but
that? The
it's
mysterious
designed in
red and
such a
black
way that
cable.
I can't accidentally touch it. So that's
In your pictures, the mysterious red and black cable looks unplugged.
it's significantly unplugged. This thing down here, by the way, is the thing that connects up to the coin drum. And there's a similar gray cable somewhere over here that does exactly the same thing for the other machine.
I know I'm not gonna do this in case
But I don't have those wired up because these machines were set up for free play when I bought them. It's like that makes sense. I don't care about getting cash for this thing. I certainly don't want to be empty coin boxes. By the way, when I got there are some tokens still in here from the place that I got it. When I first got these machines, I also found a bunch of pachinko balls in there, which was and I still keep one in my wallet for good luck. It's there. So that should be it. Yeah, that's it. Should be it. I just try to hit the mains. I stand back. It works, and I turn everything off again. Stuff it all in, and then load, and we should be good to go. Okay. Oh, great. It's a water cooler in there. Really long arms.
What are you trying to do?
I'm trying to to put the power cord.
You want me to hand it down to you?
Wait,
The power cord's already there. You see, there's a power cord just on
Yeah.
the floor over there. That just needs to
Easy to go in.
plugged into power.
I can think I can open it.
You can squeeze it out?
Yeah. I got it.
Or that's just
The player was just for the music.
Are you sure? Yeah.
I'm standing down there.
So wrong.
This is a very, very complicated
Calculate
way of solving.
Alright, next time you can just go through there.
Something that Steve might have noticed while he was crawling back there is that the arcade machines are actually on wheels.
I do see the wheels.
The back of the arcade machines have wheels, so if you just tip them slightly, you can actually wheel them to wherever you need to. They're really small wheels. On carpet it's probably fine, but on like a brick. So let's see.
No.
I wanted to use Google's GPS service.
Okay, so that is power theoretically going into each of these, but I also have to turn on the power supplies.
Ooh,
I mentioned the fan.
that's a good sound.
Okay, now I've only turned on one of these two machines.
Hey!
That's a good sign. Firmware is starting up.
Error.
Oh,
Error. This game is not acceptable anymore.
no.
That's not a good sign.
That's not a good sign. Let's see what happens if I reboot with two
Are you
machines.
okay?
Yeah, that's.
Sounds.
It just did the CRT thing.
Alright. Let's see what happens. Aww.
You shouldn't have a happy sound before they tell you.
Yeah.
You should do like the old Macs when the minor chord they would
So
play.
I
You go doo-doo-doo, and you're like, oh.
I'm not sure if I am going to be able to solve this in the amount of time that we've got. So I'm going to stop the recording at this point because, maybe I'll start the recording after we actually managed to get this troubleshot. But that's the basic demo talk thing, and I'm going to spend the rest of the time figuring out what the heck is going on. I'm going to try the reseating strategy. Work, please.
Go.
Go.
Go, go.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rolling it now. So, since I didn't record that last bit, what we found was at the bottom of this base, as Owen looked, it's actually all of the chips with the software. So I think if you want to replace the game,
It's for use independently.
if you want to replace the game, I guess you just replace this part. Which is the part where the label is attached to. It makes perfect sense.
NPC2.
So that's right, there is no hard drive.
Yeah.
Alright,
So we're gonna.
we still gotta check whether all the buttons actually work before we
I
start
can help you
recording.
with that.
Do you want to
I
play?
can help you with that.
No, we're not playing yet.
Up, down, left, right seems to
What should I
work.
just do?
Huh?
Wait, hold on. That's only one. Oh, I see. It's only one person.
You have to start.
Oh, it does work.
So the start buttons work.
Yes.
Up, down, left, right works. And then I just try pushing each button in sequence.
Oh, in Japanese.
It is in Japanese. Shocker. Okay, so every single button here works. That's in English. And this music is the reason why we generally had this turned off in Gambit.
Oh yeah, because it's the same thing.
It's the shortest track loop that I've ever heard.
That's what like 8 seconds.
Alright, so it
That's
does seem to work. I think I'm going to stuff everything back in first before.
When did this game come out?
Before I was born.
One of the girls tried to do it over
A
time.
while ago.
And so,
This game?
yeah. So no one was playing. This game came out, and they're playing people off the street and saying, like, do this thing.
Yeah, like
And there's these amazing.
I probably haven't played it since then. So
1999, 1999.
characters as symbols. Like,
I didn't have a
like,
console
like,
until like
like,
2001.
and then start using characters to like create little assets art. And it's amazing. This is like
Well,
the
it
70s
doesn't-
or something.
That's
like
true.
that.
I can't listen.
Yeah, and these characters are like starting
It's
to
for
do assets
399.
art.
That's what I'm thinking.
As well.
Characters are-
And like in some ways it's easier than that.
Yeah, because Alpha was like
A concept of speech yet, like it was just
I have no
it's
idea.
very weird tool. They're going to do this very weird task. This weird thing that like
More of it.
Thank you.
part of their life. Yeah.
Do you need to put the panel on that one?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not going to button. You.
Kind of like Super Smash.
I do like that.
I like that.
Does Sophie have to do the test too, or is this a new?
But I always play as Peach, which is like the worst character ever.
Alright.
That's not true.
With
I
that,
with it. I like.
They like.
I don't want to. I don't want to
Yeah,
really
yeah,
bad.
doing it, you
Who else
can
is
put
bad?
it.
Anyone who's bad? Okay.
I've never played this.
let's get a couple of chairs in here.
Can we throw these?
Wanky chairs.
Can we throw these?
Not my decision.
Why does it say like the export is prohibited? Just because? I mean, obviously they just.
I don't know, maybe it's an ammunition or something, I don't know. Some sort of trade rate, US
I don't
trade
even know
regulation.
how.
Oh yeah.
But in American arcade.
So we picked several characters.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's either.
Just three.
Or you can put them like, if you want to be able to choose either a set or a
Wait.
stand, then you make a short one. But if you,
Okay.
yeah, if you ever like,
It's much more like.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do this completely unintelligently. I'm gonna take that because it looks weird.
Oh yeah.
I want to try this for a handheld.
I just gotta move it.
I think
Whatever handheld comes out, I'm buying.
So yeah, because it's a Japanese game, it's Rockman,
I
not
don't know
Mega
anything
Man.
about. I'm gonna need this.
Ah, yes.
What is this? And you've got like the
I love the
what's DP
Goki.
who's the girl with machine guns?
BB Hood.
BB Hood, yeah. So like this one has a Japanese name.
in terms of like,
Oh sure.
in terms of the use case of like the casino.
I don't know.
I know her moves in Street Fighter.
There.
Oh, a little Lego dude. I don't even know who these characters are.
That's
Serbot.
Surfbot. Yeah.
Dolls. Okay. I don't know.
What are the types? Does it matter?
So the first one is like a tap, air, and the second one's probably air, and the third one's balance, more or
Wait,
less.
did you just select for me?
No.
Oh no, time ran out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Computer
wait,
picks
excuse me.
couple of
So
random
these are
ones.
high. Is this high punches? Low punch?
I have
Different,
no idea.
different system. So
I think you push the white buttons together to swap someone in.
no, you
Oh,
press.
wait,
You press. You press.
White is swap.
White and one of the fighters.
White is probably the combination of both buttons. Yeah, this is a 4-button game.